What time is it?
Taylor's. And Janie was her dog.
Okay, everybody hush. What time is it?
6:31.
Okay, have you got a song?
Yes, sir.
This meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen for the City of Cleveland is now in session. Anyone has business before this board, please come forward and you will be heard.
Ted, will you open us a prayer?
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come this evening at the hour to give thanks to the many blessings that have restored on us. We thank you for this privilege. We thank you for the opportunity for allowing us to come together to discuss the business of the city. We pray that everything we do and say will be in your will. It is in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Welcome to everyone. First order of business will be bittersweet again. Ray, it's the Ray Bell. Ms. Louise, if y'all would come forward here, please. Okay. I know everyone feels the same way I do, because everybody on this main street has called me, what do y'all think y'all gonna do without Ray Bell? And I said, that's a good question. You got any suggestions? So anyway, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
This is one fine man, as we all know. If there's ever been a better worker, y'all tell me where you saw him. He kind of got brought up through Baxter, and then Miss Louise took hold of him, and it was easy when he came to the city. Because things have been great. Yes, ma'am, and we appreciate it, and we appreciate all he's done, and he's going to be on call for us. We've gotten permission from Miss Louise that if we need something, we can sure call him. Everybody saw that?
Okay.
Would y'all like to make any comments at this time?
I'd just like to thank you all for giving me a chance to serve the city and the citizens. And I appreciate working with everyone. And two of the aldermen are not here tonight that I worked along with. And if y'all don't mind, I'd like to give some thanks to Mr. Dean Bishop, the one that got this ball rolling back. When I was looking for a part-time job, he talked me into coming to the city and coached me along. He was there for me along with Brett, but he's the one kind of encouraged me to come and get my services to the city. And I think he needs to have a pause for that. He's closer than a friend. He's like a brother and just don't know it.
Yeah. Would you like to say?
Well, something short. It's been an interesting ride, 13 and a half years. Not bad. I had to get used to some things.
Yes, ma'am. We did too.
I had to get used to my phone ringing at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And and Ray would always remind me, this is my job. He told me when we first got married 38 years ago, he feel about his job like he feel about his boys. I used to ask him to carve out time for me, and he told me, quick, fast, and in a hurry. He said, and they all played sports.
Right.
And so he supported them. And so he said, this time is for my boys. Like he used to tell me about the city,
Yes, ma'am.
We've been traveling, maybe not too very far, because we never have, but somebody would call him, and I don't know. Well, yeah, and Mr. Sanders.
Yes, indeed.
But he would always let me know, this is my job, this is my living, and this is how I take care of my family. And so I got used to it. But I'm kind of glad to have him back just for a little while.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's okay if you all get him again. Okay.
I'm gonna make this show. We're gonna go behind this one. But all you other guys, y'all should be jealous. I'm the only man that had two wives, and both of them were satisfied. That was the city and her.
That's all right.
We're gonna do this.
I'll take a couple. Okay.
All right. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Right.
I raised in the city. You are the reason. And they should have had them. Just know you and I.
Let me get her out.
Let me get her out of here.
Okay, we'll go on our next order of business here. At this point, each year, we are supposed to appoint city officials, give their designated duties. We're going to refer this to executive session since it is a personnel matter. So at this point, we will open nominations for vice mayor.
I nominate our senior member on this board, Ted Campbell.
I'll second.
Okay, Gary, Kirk made a motion. Any other nominations? Okay, if not,
I would like to nominate Kurt Pavilion.
I decline that. Ted's a senior member and I'll defer to him.
okay, well, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, Ted. On my side again here,
I
thank
am
you.
ready. Ready to
Okay,
work for
at
you.
this point, we're glad to have Laura Bowman from the chamber with us. So Laura, if you'll come up and give us a tourism report, please. And welcome for being here.
So you're gonna hold me to the 5-minute time limit?
Well,
Maybe.
it's gonna be a long night, so.
Hey, you can do it shorter.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Three will be okay.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send this presentation to Dominique because I did link a lot of stuff in here, so you can go back and review it on your own of what you're interested in. And so I will try to kind of just hit the high points. Look, I just printed 8, so Dominique, Danny, y'all have to look on to everybody. Here's my contact information. I don't think you've had, I know some of y'all know how to get in touch with me, so. And for those that I don't know, Ms. Wentz, my name's Laura Bowman, and I know I've met Brian. I came to the Chamber of Commerce the end of November of last year. And so the director of tourism that works for the Cleveland Tourism Commission left during the middle of May. So I've been stepping in and fulfilling the director of tourism roles, and we've got a great board of tourism volunteers that have been helping with that as well too. So I'm just going to kind of briefly give you an update from the Cleveland Tourism Commission. I can only account for things that have happened from October 1 of this year until today. So I will let you know that we are doing a search for a new director of tourism. We're working with a search group that's doing that search. I printed off 2 copies here of their recruitment profile just for y'all to look at. If you go to our website, it's clevelandmschamber.com. And if you click on apply, the search profile is there. Anyone that's interested in that position will need to apply with the search group. The email address is on there for any questions or anything. The timeline that we have for getting a new director of tourism is I hope by September 1st, because the earlier the better for me. That is best case scenario. But right now what they're doing is they've started looking for candidates, vetting candidates, and the timeline for that is through the end of July. So if you know someone locally that's interested in the position, please share that recruitment package with them. Feel free to contact me. I can send them to it, but we're going to send everything through the search firm as far as candidates and vetting of them. So what you've got here is just a brief presentation. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, and y'all can speed me up or ask me any questions if you have. So the Cleveland Tourism Commission meets on a monthly basis. They meet on the third Thursday of each month at 1:30 over at the Chamber of Commerce office. So anyone is welcome to attend. That is a public meeting. There is an executive committee. The officers are Laura Howe, the director of the BPAC, Tricia Walker, the ambassador of music for the city of Cleveland, and Sarah Ayward, I see I misspelled her name right down there, that owns the Wishing Well. And so those 3 ladies are on the executive committee. I meet with them on the first Thursday of each month for us to really go through all of the Cleveland Tourism Commission business right now. This is a rundown of all the members. I wanted you to know who serves on the Cleveland Tourism Commission and what position that they hold on that commission as well too. There are several active committees. I have to brag on these people. They are all very involved. You cannot ask for a more involved group of volunteers. There's some active committees right now. We're calling it the American Queen Committee, the riverboats that are landing at Terrain Landing that are already coming to town and visiting the Grammy, and they're going to be visiting different venues around town as well as stopping downtown and shopping as well too. We're waiting to get that final schedule of where those stops will be, but those stops will start here in August. So Kate Holder, our Main Street Director, she is organizing all of that and working with the downtown businesses. We have a marketing committee that approves all the ads and is looking at placing ads to promote Cleveland. We have a meetings and conventions committee, and I'll talk about that. We've got some great materials from this past year. You're all, six of you are very familiar with the entertainment district. You passed that here earlier this year. That was on the plan of work for the Tourism Commission this year. And then we've got a committee about future campaigns looking how to promote Cleveland to other different groups like the meetings and conventions. So one thing I did is we wanted to talk at the numbers and look, because the tourism tax is a 2% tax, and that funds the Cleveland Tourism Commission. So anytime you buy a hamburger here in Cleveland, you're paying extra 2% on that hamburger, and that fund comes to the Cleveland tourism tax. So what I did is I wanted to look at how the tourism tax has grown. And y'all know we're dealing with COVID, and numbers are going to be skewed here for the next 2 or 3 years because we've got it upside down fiscal year and fiscal 21, or fiscal year 20 and 21 to look at. So you can look at the sales tax number. So you can see that it has grown in fiscal year 19, 2% to 20, up to 6%. And it's trending upward for this year as well, too, from what I'm looking at. And I know y'all are probably watching those numbers carefully as well. So how does the tourism tax grow in correlation to the sales tax? So are people spending the same amount of money when they come just for goods and services, or are they spending more money specifically on those hotel stays and food? So if you look at the correlation of the tourism tax, it has grown at a almost the same rate or greater in some instances over the past 3 years. From fiscal year 19, it was greater than the sales tax. So more people were eating out, staying in hotels. Same in 19, and then it did trend down in fiscal year 20. We know why. Travel stopped for many people. And then how does that compare to the occupancy rates over each fiscal year? So if you really look at the next slide on occupancy rates, I went through and pulled the last 3 years of hotel occupancy rates. So there's two big things you need to know when looking at these numbers. In June 2019, fiscal year of June, the Cotton House came. So you had an increase in the supply of rooms. So your occupancy rate, you can see in June, went from 62% down to 49% through the rest of that fiscal year. Well, you added 65 plus rooms at the Cotton House. So that increased your supply. Again, the same thing happened in February of this year with the Lyric property and 100 rooms coming on into your supply average. So you look at February, it was the same as January and February. And then March of this year, the occupancy rate went up 52.3%. So that's a huge jump because that's also accounting for additional 100 rooms in your supply that were not there in January that are now there in March. So I just wanted you to point that out when you're looking at those occupancy numbers for fiscal year 21. They're actually, in my opinion, a lot greater than what they appear because you just added 100 new rooms in February. So that's just the fiscal year since we're looking. I know y'all look in fiscal years at money and sales tax. So I wanted to break that down in occupancy rates as well, too. So when you're talking about tourism as an economic development tool, in economic development, you're always looking at the increase in sales tax and increase in jobs for people. So those are the two main factors that you want to look at for a return. You want more people to be employed, and you want there to be more wealth in your community. So what I did is I pulled some numbers here, and you can't see my sources down there, but when I send the file, you can link and go and look at all of these great resources. A lot of this is from Mississippi State at Stitch, they do the hard work for people like me. So there's two main sectors you're going to look at for tourism. That's going to be retail trade and then accommodation and food service. So if you look, I've got the past 3 years numbers in 18, 19, and 20. And again, we know 20 is with COVID. That is total sales in that industry sector. So you can see that even with COVID in fiscal year 20, retail trade continued to increase, as well as accommodation and food service. Not as great at retail as retail trade, but accommodation and food service did increase. So one thing I want to point out down at the bottom is total retail pull factor. So what a retail pull factor number is 1 is the baseline. If you're below 1, then that means people are leaving your community to go and purchase goods and services. If you're above a 1, that means people are coming in from outside of Cleveland to purchase goods and services, to come and eat, to come and stay. So you can see that overall, a retail pull factor of 1.73, it's increased for the past 3 years. And you can see the next line is the population for Cleveland. And then you see the retail population trade area capture. So it almost doubles the amount of people coming into Cleveland and those that retail trade sector. So more people are coming into Cleveland to do their shopping, eating than they actually live here. So one thing we've got to differentiate in tourism, and the new director is going to be tasked with, how many of those people are tourists coming from outside of that 50 to 60 mile radius versus they're just coming over from Greenwood for the night to have dinner. And so that's some market research I can talk about that we've got to get in our office. We have to purchase this occupancy rate and this data. And so we've got to get a hold of some additional data like that we need to purchase. So the next slide, y'all tell me if I'm losing you or to speed it up. I can talk about these numbers for a while. It's the accommodation and food service sector. So you see in fiscal year 20, there's a pull factor of 2.06. Again, 1 is you're starting. So anything over 1 is mean you're pulling greater from outside of Cleveland. So you're almost doubling that pull factor and people that are coming. So you can see that trade area capture is 23,000 people when we know there's less than 12,000 people residing in Cleveland. This is just a good, easy bar chart for you to look at to see how sales have increased over the past 4 years. You can see there was a significant increase in March of 2021. It decreased in February. You're normally always going to see a decrease in February because it's after the holidays and no one has gotten their tax income money yet. So it's always, retailers know this, it's always a slow month for that sector. If you go down and look at the next slide right here, and I've got a blue line highlighted right there. So this is the complete numbers, and this is calendar year. So not fiscal year, we're looking at calendar year. So from January 1 to December 31st of 2020, it goes in, you can look at how the number of establishments and accommodation and food service. So is this sector growing? So if we're bringing more people to town, are more people opening up businesses? You can see that number has stayed steady across the board at 63. I'm curious like you to see what 21 is going to look like. I know I've heard of 1 or 2 places that have not opened back up from COVID. The good thing is the average annual employment is continuing to rise. Over 4 years, there's been about 50 jobs. That's good. It's not a decrease. One of the important things is wages are continuing to grow as well too. So you want people to be able to pay more, to have more wealth to then put back in the community as well too. So down there at the bottom, you have annual average employment, and then you have LQ. That stands for location quotient. Your location quotient, if the national average is 1, that means that Cleveland has a 0.3 greater advantage on average employment in this sector. So we have more people employed in the accommodation and food service sector than the national average here in Cleveland. The same numbers are for the retail sector. Again, we're over 2 on that pull factor. So again, we're over 24,000+ people that are coming into Cleveland to do their retail trade and business. Your annual establishments have decreased over the past 4 years. If you look right here, some things to point out, job growth has declined as well too in the retail sector, but that average the weekly wage and annual wage per year have increased. And again, your average employment location quotient is 1.5. So again, you're employing more people than the national average here in Cleveland, and that has continued to grow. So those are growing sectors here for Cleveland, is the accommodation and food service and the retail sector. Y'all have any questions?
If you go back, Laura, if you go back to the day when the tour, it's called Tourism and Economic Development Tax because it was originally created to help create a pool of funds to develop our economy, not just here, but even in the industrial park. If you go back to there, the tourism tax has almost outpaced the retail trade tax 2 to 1.
Really?
Yes. I was surprised your numbers were as close as they were now because historically, the sales tax has increased about 2% and the tourism tax has increased about 4% over that roughly 30-year period of time.
Oh, wow, no, I didn't go back that far.
Well, I've got it if you need it.
Yeah, no, I would love to look at it too, because it took me a little while to try to pull all of these together. But y'all know this, for last year, it went over $1 million for the first time on
Right.
that 2% tourism tax, what I could see. So hopefully you'll continue to see that increase in fiscal year 21. A few things, I think I'm missing a page from what y'all have, but just talking about the plan of work for Cleveland Tourism Commission, these were some things that they set out to accomplish. So I see I skipped over one. We send out a lot of Visit Cleveland brochures. Those requests come through the Mississippi Delta Tourism Association website and the Visit Cleveland website. We're tracking how many of those that we send out. So we sent out just over 1,000 already this year, with still, 4 months to go in the fiscal year. On the program of work, the Cleveland Tourism Commission wanted to promote Cleveland as a location for meetings and conventions. So, with the new Lyric Hotel property, I've seen they've had a lot of events out there, meetings and conventions, the Cotton House, when Delta State facilities become available again. We've got some great marketing materials, and that is a new market that we're going to start promoting Cleveland in, is in meetings and conventions. So really, here in the past 6 months, they've developed the materials. That is on the to-do list on how we're going to now market those materials and reach out to these groups. Like I said, the Leisure and Recreation District, the Tourism Commission has accomplished that. That's a new little map you're going to see that's going to be coming out soon as well. Another thing that has come out from the Cleveland Tourism Commission that we've got to do a better job of promoting is a Visit Cleveland sponsorship package. So y'all know there's a lot of great groups here in Cleveland are putting on events that are bringing people to town and promoting Cleveland. So there's now a sponsorship program available. It's on the Visit Cleveland MS website. So it's mini grants that any group can apply for. They do have to have a marketing plan. They've got to apply for this in advance of their event, and then it will be approved. The funds are available on a rolling basis. And so that sponsorship form is on the website. I encourage you to go and look at it. Tell your constituents about it as well, too, if they're planning an event or a festival or bringing a group to town. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. One other big thing that is ongoing that we've almost wrapped up is the Cleveland Tourism Commission received CARES Act funds. So this is money that came from the federal government down to the state legislature that was then appropriated out. The way this money was appropriated out was based on the prior advertising budget. So for the fiscal year 2019 advertising budget, there was a formula based off the amount that the Cleveland Tourism Commission spent. They were appropriated $166,405 of CARES Act fund. So there's more federal money coming as well, too, through the Recovery Act. So when the legislature convenes and meets again, whenever the governor calls that, and he's got several things on his list, this is one of them, that money will be appropriated. I think it's going to be probably 2022. But there will be more federal funding coming that we will need to be positioned for to receive. So a lot of this money had to be spent on digital marketing because you had to be able to track every dollar that was spent for the CARES Act reporting. So one of the easiest way to track that is through digital marketing. And so that's where the largest amount of this $166,000 was spent. It was spent on 3D marketing tours. We're not even through with all of our 3D tours, but there's anyone that's interested in coming to Cleveland for a meeting or convention can take a 3D tour of all of our facilities on a PR campaign, and then advertising, campaign, design, and printing. I linked to some videos. You probably have seen a lot of them that were on social media and been promoted here in Cleveland as well, too. But that was the majority of what the CARES Act fund paid for. So that was a huge injection of funding to promote Cleveland during fiscal year 21 when no one was traveling. There's also some professional service accounts that I want y'all to know about. Advanced Travel does all of the digital marketing for the Visit Cleveland brand. And then we have a communications firm that does PR and marketing as well, too. I linked some of those reports. I won't get into them. We can spend another 2 hours going through them. If you're that interested, come see me. I recently learned about them inside and out as well, too. So that's just a recap, really from about the past 7 or 8 months. So y'all have any questions?
I have one.
Okay.
Yes.
You're doing a great job. Thank you for your leadership. You looked at strength versus weakness. Where where do you see tourism in our community right now?
So I've actually done a good bit of that and kind of evaluating our program when losing a director and saying, okay, what do we need to put resources towards? So I think the Cleveland Tourism Commission has done a lot with their budget size. We've got one of the smallest budgets in the state for Cleveland tourism, for just a tourism agency as well too. Many communities our size or larger are putting a tremendous amount of dollars into advertising, into marketing Cleveland as well too. One of the weaknesses we have that I've looked into is we don't have some market research, some data that shows us once we promote and we get people to Cleveland and they're here and we know they're staying in the hotels, what are they doing? Are they shopping? Are they just eating? Are they going to the Grammy? Are they going to Delta State sporting events? So we need some of that data where you dig down deeper and we know exactly what people are doing once they come to Cleveland and how they're spending their money. So I think that's one of the big next steps we've got to take to be able to make good marketing decisions so that we know that, okay, we should, obviously in the fall or sports, around Delta State, we need to market things this way because that's why people are coming, or, they're coming to special events at the Grammy. And so that's one of the things I think the next tourism directors really got to dig in and figure out. And of course, all of this data is available because we're being tracked on everything. It just costs money to access.
Thank you.
Than we've seen in a long time.
Good, Dad.
So you obviously are trying to dig deep.
We appreciate your enthusiasm.
This is on the web page for the chamber, all this.
No, so a lot of this, and y'all, we can pull more and go deeper, especially from the economic development side. Mississippi State, I don't know if y'all get these from Dr. Alan Bearfield. They used to work at Mississippi State, not just a big fan. But Dr. Bearfield, he does these economic profiles every month that he sends out, and he's got a database, and he sends them out to a lot of elected officials. See Dominique shaking her head. Do you get them? Yeah, so a lot of that comes from him. It's a quick, easy to glance to look at every month over month. And then some of that's just quick pull down from your labor statistics. But if you've got any questions or looking for, more information, I can help you find it as well too.
Well, thank you. There's no timetable on this position. Correct?
September.
Well, I hope we have somebody by September, but no, we're going to find the right person. So yes, that's the ultimate question. But someone's interested, they need to go ahead and get their resume submitted quickly.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Can I give this to you? You can email it to you. Okay, I'll email it to you as well. Thank you.
Is Miss Witt on?
She is.
Okay. We have another visitor, Miss Witt.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
My name is Janie Witt, and I'm the founder of Innocent Angel Foundation. And I have submitted information regarding starting an organization, they're a nonprofit organization to help feed the needy, starting classes or learning center for the children and help revitalizing the neighborhood. If I could show you our PowerPoint, do they have a computer that you can look at? Everyone is on Zoom. Can I share the screen with everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. My computer is a little bit slow because I'm located way up in the mountains and rarely can I get on Zoom. So this is pretty good that I'm on here now. So just bear with me and I'll have the slideshow starting here soon.
See, Mississippi's internet's better than California.
Yes, it is. When you're located 8,000 feet up in the mountains, anywhere is better than California. It's very slow. Okay. I promise it's gonna start. Sorry about this. Here we go.
Didn't take long.
Okay, this will give you an idea of our program that we're proposing to start in Cleveland with the Innocent Angel Foundation and also the Alma Hayes Foundation. The whole purpose of this is because when I was there after my mother passed and I saw a need for really helping revitalize the area where she lived. Let me go back here. It's going a little bit too fast. To give you a little bit of information about the foundation, our goal is to make sure we help with worthy causes as much as far as feeding the needy, helping, with elderly abuse, also with breast cancer. But the main thing is like making sure that we bring in a healthy program to deliver fresh food and to the needy. Also help cleaning up the environment, because as you see that there is just a lot of what we saw was trash in the area. And the reason why that, I'm coming there from California is because this is where I was born and raised in Pace, Mississippi. My mother lived there in Cleveland, and it was really heartbreaking when I came back for her funeral and saw the way things were. And the reason I'm bringing it to you now is because I really need your support in helping making sure that this program is successful in the area. Everything from mentoring children, because I saw where just so many kids that's out in the streets instead of learning. On that particular street, I did not see a lot of police presence, but that is something that is needed. That is something that needs to stop with, it's going a little bit too fast here. Stop with having so many wannabe gangbangers in the community and start helping with the learning. Because we don't really have a location. So what I'm proposing is to utilize my mother's home at the moment to turn it in to the foundation to help the needy there. I've already started to get people sent information for donations and things of that nature. So what I need is, since I'm not back there, is see if I can get more support from the board on directing me in different areas as far as what would I need to make this a reality. I have this particular slide along with my bio that I can email to Dominique and get to everyone here. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now that would and answer any questions that anyone may have regarding the foundation. I'm not sure if this is something that's already in Cleveland, or do you find that it is a need, or if there are just questions that you would like to ask me on how this came about.
Where your mother's home located at?
Over on Alo Street, Alo Avenue.
What part of Alo?
Near, I think it's Church or Cross, in that area.
812 Alo.
What block, Dominic?
He said 812 Alo.
812 Alo.
And you're proposing to utilize your mom's home?
Yes, to start off with, because this is a new foundation. We're looking to raise capital through grants and also by getting different donations of the food or wood or whatever is needed to turn my mom's home into a location where we could feed the needy. And that's the reason why we're using her home, because it's like we don't have another location there in Cleveland. And eventually, as the company grow, then we can find a location where we can put in a community center, add computers for people to come to be able to utilize, kids to continue to learn, get mentors to help them to develop and take them out of the streets.
Ms. Witt, what you proposing is very vital, and I like your idea, but Dominique, I'd like to see if you can get with her and Kenny, and then we can just look at this, because it's in its early stages, and we're gonna need a little bit more input about.
I'd like to mention this, Miss Janie.
Yes.
You know, in certain instances, our hands are tied with the state on liabilities and things that we can do in partnering with certain organizations. I see a lot of this going through the local churches. Have you considered going through any of the churches to try to start this project?
To be honest with you, I'm not familiar with any of the churches there.
I would guess that would be your first place to start, because they have feeding programs. They have certain adult daycares and things like that. I would like to see you go through. I think you would partner better with the local churches if you could do that. Now that's gonna be a lot of work on your part to find out who they are. But I think that's gonna be where you would want to start.
I am open to any suggestions, any help, because this is not the first time I've done a program like this. I was in Mississippi, where I developed a program in Chula, Mississippi, where I brought a factory there. And I can send that along with my information, where I had letters of support from everyone from Benny Thompson, Senator Jordan, Marianne Stevens, because I built the factory there, but needing the support that come from the community, that is vital. I want to make sure that I am doing this correctly, because I don't know what type of ordinances in place that may or may not prevent me from doing the revitalization or remodeling my mom's home and turning it into the foundation. So that's where I need more support on what I've already got the foundation filed with the state of Mississippi. I've already done that. Innocent Angel will be located here in California. So once that, I know if there are any ordinance that preventing from the remodeling of the home, making sure that we can have food and supplies or whatever delivered there for to give out to the needy, that's the information that I need.
Okay, so I think what you need to do is this information needs to get to our community development department.
Okay.
Because they're the ones, Jenny, that
Rezoning and
they deal with zoning issues, whether or not, because it sounds like right now what you're trying to do is trying to make sure the house is in an area that will accommodate what you're trying to do.
Yes, I want to make sure that there aren't any zoning issues, or just for the remodeling of the house, what would I have to face in doing that?
Okay. We can get you the email address of the community
development.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I would suggest maybe that the Madam Clerk, Dominic, be the one that she communicate with, and maybe she direct her to whoever she needs to go to. And then I don't know whether community action would be a resource that she could maybe partner with, but.
Are you familiar with the Glenn Foundation? Did you know the Glenn Foundation? Ms. Witt,
No, I'm not familiar with that foundation. It's called the Glenn Foundation?
Yes, and Mr. Glenn is over the Food Network for Mississippi. And I know it's not year-round feeding, but they do come yearly and have functions at the different high schools and schools. And it's a health and food and it's really a great nonprofit that's done a good job around here. It would be a good resource for you to talk to Glenn's.
We also provide Dominique with a list of churches too, that you need to contact. So she'll have that list.
Ain't got nothing to do.
Okay, no, because we're looking to provide the food year round, because I think that there's a need for it. I know from my mother's neighbor where it's like, you know, they have been in need of food, especially here with COVID-19. And I know where they've been in need of police protection, because just my mother's neighbor, she was sitting in her home watching TV and got shot. So I'm looking at whatever we can do to make this neighborhood as safe as possible for the children, for the elderly, and bring in the food and bring in the education. I have the experience with contacting everyone from food organizations, because I work for one of the largest nonprofit organizations here in Los Angeles called Haluna Help, where that's what we do, help the homeless.
Ms. Wentz, did you have something?
Oh, no, I was talking to Dominique about, she has it.
Okay.
The main thing that I can hear, your request is so multi-level that the best place to start is where Alderman Gaines Paletti said, and that's community development. To see, ask those questions and let them talk to you to see if you can do what you want to do and go from there as far as the house is concerned. And then maybe work like Alderman Sanders said, and Alderman Paval with the, of course, the community development and the churches.
Okay. So I would get all of this information through Dominique?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Will Worker. Look at her grinning over there, y'all. He's a workhorse.
Give it to Dominique.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, yeah.
No, thank you. I will make sure that I get all of this information to Dominique, and if anyone has any questions, just feel free to give me a call. All my contact information will be in there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Witt. Somebody's missing a call, aren't they? All right, public hearings, Danny.
These are long. I'm gonna go fast, so. 120 Coleman, Tony and Melissa Brown, 502 Lee, Delta Investments, 652 North Bio, Jordan Reynolds, 713 East Sunflower, Claude Global, 135 North Street, Westerfield Brothers, 1008 Bio Bend, Deborah Joel, 602 Ruby Street, Gilda Gunn and Verdi Hugger, 402 Yale Street, Magnolia Reynolds, 914 Smith Cove, Dr. Clemmy Williams, 705 South Court, 703 South Court, Herder Company LLC, 821 Reverend Sammy Rash, Hotham Court, and then there are two unnumbered Reverend Sammy Rash lots that are the Garden Angel Trust. 107 South Andrews, Johnny and Angela Johnson, 312 West Carpenter Estates LLC, 809 Pecan Street, Andrew M. Jones Trust, 815 Avery, Bailey Investments LLC, 901 Church, Barbara Nicholson et al., and 104 East End, Charlie and Aubrey Joyce and Shannon Fitzpatrick. Those would be in order for motion and second to adjudicate.
So moved.
So moved.
Danny, Gary, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I do have a question.
Yes.
Some of these have some progress.
Yeah, that's what I was
Are we
asking.
wanting, just for clarity for the minutes, if they have some progress or no progress, you guys want to adjudicate?
What's the recommendation of the department?
They have
With
been
the some progress, we still want to move forward on that.
Okay,
Okay, so
that's what I thought.
I just want to clarify, just anything that has owner cut removed will not adjudicate. Everything else we will.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay. So moved, change my motion.
okay. Danny changed his motion.
No need.
We don't have to.
No, it's just clarification for me.
We good. Okay,
Next,
ahead.
you have a public hearing set tonight. We had moved it from earlier. Ms. Tamika Green wants to reopen the old CRA swimming pool and add additional parking. Now, this is before you as a variance because it's in an R2 zoned neighborhood, and that doesn't necessarily provide for a swimming pool. And it's been closed long enough so that it's not grandfathered. Have any objections been received?
No, sir.
Where is that? Did you say in the CRA?
Old CRA pool.
Yeah.
We have a posting over there?
Yes, properly posted, noticed and published.
Okay.
And no, okay. On a motion.
I make a motion.
Get on the block.
I second.
Motion Brad, Danny second. All in favor, say aye. Okay. All right, that's your first motion. Okay, what we got?
You want to go to attorney? We had Wally Ashley here too, discussing a 30-day extension. That's the third on that list.
Okay.
Mayor, I was very much involved in Ms. Ashley's estate in this property, and I feel based on conflict of interest, I need to recuse.
All right, hit the door.
He's out.
Mayor, I'm gonna have to recuse myself too because of the bank.
Okay. I'll visit for a minute then. 2, 4, 5, we got enough to, so
We got a quorum.
what's the issue? We just want 30 more days? Come on, Wally.
How y'all doing?
Hey, buddy.
I was just informed that I needed to get my building permit in, so I got it in to Kenny Thompson. And we got it ready to go, so we're gonna, there's not any objections with it or anything. We were gonna go ahead and see about getting some remodeling done on it.
The request was,
I mean, the last meeting we had, we were supposed to be presented with a plan for remodeling. Is that not right? And what am I-
that was the request was that Wally was going to get with Kenna
And
and
he's
get
done
him an
that.
estimate. And he,
What about it, Kenneth?
He gave me some plans last month and he brought me another application today, revised application. The fees on the application we thought were too low. So with everything that was going on today, I emailed him late this evening and told him I would review that in the morning. And he would also need a licensed general contractor to perform the work that's well over $100,000. So I told him I would get with him in the morning on that.
What is the value?
I mean, we were supposed to be told if the construction could be done and if the building was less than 50%.
Right.
What's the value to?
Have we got any of that?
Kenneth, the value is, he's okay on it.
I had them to pull the value on that this afternoon after he sent me that email. And according to the Bolivar County records, the property is appraised at about $92,000. So the $110,000 is more than what the building is valued. We were going to look at those numbers in the morning and touch them up and see where we are. But we know right now we are above the 50% value of what the building is.
I make a motion, we give Kenna the opportunity to look at these numbers and we vote on this at our second meeting this month.
Okay.
Which would be 15 to 14 days.
But you give him more time to get everything in order.
That way he can review these numbers and give us something that we can make a decision on.
I second, Mayor.
All right, Gary made a motion, Robert second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, thank you, Wally.
Thank y'all.
Danny, if you'll.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
You tell them that he fired you as the lawyer and
he's going to another bank.
Brian agreed to loan him all the money to fix his building. That's right.
It's hard to find a good one.
Okay. Okay, Josh, engineering.
Yes, I'll be brief tonight. Y'all have a copy of my report. The only additional information I'll add is we just seeded Fiducia Park, and we're going to be in a process of about 30 days for grass establishment. That's all I have. If you have any questions.
Any questions, Josh?
I have a question for Josh.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have an opportunity on 108 Belvedere, there is a sinkhole behind the house. It is steadily growing as it rains. The property is eroding. I would like for you to come and look at that property with me.
Yes, sure.
And I did send Dominique some pictures of it. So I think she put it in Dropbox. If you all want to see it, it's available for your preview.
It's in the folder at the very
I'll give
bottom.
you a call in the morning. I actually think this is already on our list for the contractor working in that area to repair. But I'll give you a call in the morning and we'll take a look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's steadily increasing.
Yes, ma'am.
Pretty good hole.
That's right, Josh. You just let me know what you find out at 1619 Terrace too, please.
I sure will.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if it's appropriate this time, but for Josh, going into budget, could he look at the possibility of some kind of fencing around the recycle area? Wooden fencing. I don't know how.
Here?
Yeah, that way it is. The dentist has spent a great deal of money refurbishing the building over on Sunflower that backs up to the recycle pit.
She gets a lot of garbage from it or something.
Well, it just looks.
Well, we're not gonna tear down the building, the old city building there.
Oh, Cotton House is renting.
They're renting.
Okay.
Right now.
They're renting the building.
I'm talking about, Mayor, is the area where just the
Yeah.
garbage, it's unsightly. She's got a really beautiful dental clinic there, and just some kind of a wooden fence around it, I think would
Okay.
Just put it on the north and make the
give
turn.
her some
Privacy.
Right.
what
Yes,
appears.
Bring that to you at budget session.
That'd
Okay.
be great.
Good.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Okay. Any other questions, Josh? Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Danny, city attorney.
Yes, sir. Approval of consent agenda is before you for motion and second.
So moved. Second.
Gary, Ted, all in favor, say aye.
Approval of the Arrow disposal contract is before you for motion and second to approve. That's our solid waste.
I thought we had already done.
Yeah.
So
I thought we had.
This is the proposal they made to us a meeting ago. I make a motion.
I second it.
This is
Gary, Danny, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, okay.
And the final thing outside of executive session is closing an alley on Peel Avenue. The copy of the plats in your Dropbox folder.
It's across from Roy Collins. It backs, in fact, the Cleveland Animal Clinic is using part of, it's not really an alley. There's a fence right.
Is there not a fence?
I thought we had
Yeah.
this discussion years ago.
We've done it all over town with these little alleys appeared back in the 60s, 60s
Yeah.
and 70s. And
Where is it, Mayor? It comes out on that street.
it doesn't come out. It's really the back part of animal shelter
Right.
across from Roy Collins
Right.
and the little building, I think, some electric, Scott Electric, something was in there.
Right.
They both have been taken care of it, and there's a fence that would be right in the middle of an alley next to the building. So,
We abandoned, they each get half.
yeah, that's the way it works.
You need a motion?
There's structures
So
on there
moved.
anyway.
Danny, Brian, all in favor, say aye.
There's no structure.
You carry through with that? Okay, and you got executive session issues?
Yes, sir.
Building right there where it would have been.
Okay. Planning commission,
Probably kind of me too.
okay.
The planning commission is submitting a recommendation for approval for Will Bradham to open an adult daycare in B2H zoning located at 211 South Sharp Street, South Sharp Avenue. Mr. Bradham was requested to provide proof that he had been operating as an adult daycare since the special exception was originally granted to him in 2017. I have not spoken with Mr. Bradham. I don't know if he brought that information in and submitted it to anyone in legal, but we do have it on the agenda here tonight.
I'd like to push it back to the planning commission.
Yes.
And them get the information before this board has to vote on it.
I totally agree.
I don't
Instead
remember.
of just kicking it us.
We hadn't gotten anything.
You don't have anything.
It's our recommendation. Get planning commission to do a fact.
Hey,
find.
planning commission they need to study it. That's what their job is, then bring the report to us.
It's a trap for us.
Yeah, well,
You need a motion and a second. Or
I make a motion, we push this back to the planning commission.
I second.
Danny, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Kenneth, community development.
I don't have anything outside of my monthly report. But if you guys have any questions or anything that I need to look at, I'll be welcoming questions right now.
Okay. Question?
Hey, let me ask you, do your inspectors, on a daily basis, do you all turn in, submit reports of how many?
Yes.
Yes, areas and
Yes.
things that. It is provided to us on the board and.
No.
Number of inspections?
Yeah.
It's in its monthly.
Well,
It's monthly report.
you know, as it relates to, inspections and things of that nature, there's citations and things of issues.
Yeah, it's broken down. I did not have an opportunity to submit it this month, but we have been submitting it for the last few months on an individual sheet that's totally designated for inspection.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Kenneth. Anna, Railroad Museum.
How are y'all?
Hey,
I'm good. If you have anything besides my report.
That was a great report.
It was.
Doing an outstanding job.
Yeah.
It's good seeing
Thank
traffic
you.
increase.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's good when they don't have a lot of questions.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, have a good night. Buster?
The only thing is our software program at the police department, we had an update zone on it for NIBRs, and it knocked our statistical data out. So our statistical stuff, I'm not able to pull. I went and pulled it by hand later this afternoon, just give you an update. Last month we had almost 1,300 calls for service. And we also had a total of approximately 53 total arrests last month. That's misdemeanor and felony. Just wanted to give you an update on that since it wasn't on the report because I couldn't pull it at that time. And the only other thing that I have is Mississippi Department of Homeland Security always has grants available every year. And I would like to have permission to apply for a Homeland Security grant or whatever equipment that we can get from it.
So move.
Okay, Robert, Ted, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Chief, this summer over at the swimming pool, let me just say this, it's open. And today, I don't know if it was the first day or not, but traffic is so congested over there.
We've got, I've got all of my school resource officers that were in the school that just got out of the school.
Right.
All of them, except for the exception of one that's working in summer school. I put them on the 1 to 9 shift.
They'll be at work.
We got them there.
Okay.
And that's one thing they're supposed to be doing is checking the parks and the swimming pools and things like that.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Buster, I see you got all the arrests and the collections on your report. Would it be possible for you to put the number of traffic tickets and citations that you write on that report?
Okay, Danny.
Two of our good aldermen, one saw the video of a truck bypassing our gate out at Bear Pen. The other made a comment that we need the camera out there. Do you have cameras that would pick up that activity? Will any camera that we have planned out there pick up that activity?
The one that we've got planned out there, I doubt will pick up that activity because it's going to be closer to the main gate.
Right.
In fact, speaking of cameras, we will start installing them tomorrow. The poles are up, concrete is good. So we're going to start installing the cameras around town tomorrow.
Be thinking what we could do out there to stop that infiltration, whether it's spikes or what, I don't know.
Are parks, were parks considered in the cameras?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We're gonna have
okay,
cameras
all right. Okay, not at that back section.
The biggest issue that we have is that ditch. It's not really deep.
It's not deep enough.
Keep cars from traversing.
That's easy.
Be able to do that pretty easy, you'd think.
We could do that.
So if we could dig that ditch out.
Do that a budget here.
Deeper, then.
Yeah, they can use the dirt on the ball field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it up budget.
Yeah, they dig the ditch, use the dirt on the ball.
Okay. All right, anything else for Buster?
May I had two calls. I'm not sure if they were fireworks, but these people in our area have called before about gunshots. This past Sunday, I believe, they reported after calling Monday morning that they had heard gunshots all night.
That Sunday was the 4th of July. We had a lot of fireworks. Unfortunately, it's just like New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
People shoot fireworks. some people that don't have fireworks feel the need to go out and shoot into the air or shoot into the ground. So that does not surprise me. We did have that. In fact, some of our officers, I know for a fact that our officers were trying to locate one particular area that in fact, it was in Mr. Campbell's ward that there was a significant amount of gunshots.
Was it an estimated amount? What?
No, sir, we didn't. We weren't able to locate who it was. We did get a call, and that's one thing that I'm happy about. We did
That's the first in a while, isn't it?
and directed us in the right direction. And, but
Praise the Lord.
That's ammunition.
Yeah, somebody.
One final comment. I just want to keep urging you to
yes, sir,
keep the pressure on and keep the roadblocks so the license, because people are real concerned about it all the time. Thank you.
Greg?
Yes, sir. Trying to jump ahead of the game. I know this is going to sound like it's really, really early, but I'm looking at a 5-year plan on the purchase of our next fire truck. We've got one coming in October that y'all very familiar with. The next one is going to be a ladder truck. And trying to figure out some things to do. We've got some things in the works of speaking to some different officials with different organizations, say Delta State, Baxter's, City Board of Supervisors, just trying to plan ahead for 5 years from now, purchasing a new ladder truck, which is a very substantial amount of money. So you'll see that I have contacted a lady from the coast who sits on the AFG approval examination board for the AFG grants. It's not a conflict of interest. She does this all the time. She's in the fire service, which would help a little more than what you would see on just a regular grant writer. And I'd like permission to start working with her over the next several years to just try to come up with something where we're not just hit with that tremendous amount of money for that truck, in the 5-year term. Just trying to be proactive, trying to do everything we can so you're not hit with a big surprise and a big bill, 5 years from now. So
thank you for doing
Greg, did you see the email I sent you?
I did. One of the things that, and not being a negative Nelly at all, but I did research it and all. One of the things is our population that's killing us. We're over the 7,000 on the rural stuff. We are continuing to, and she's one of the ones that gave me suggestions with some other grant opportunities, and we're going to try to open up all of those. And
some of those grants work. You got Boyle and Renover on either end of us. They would both qualify for rural development grants. They could partner with us and you would qualify for that.
Okay, we'll look into that avenue as well.
You need to check with that lady. You need to check with that lady at Wicker's office that I gave you her email address. I mean, she was very, very helpful in providing the information.
Yes, sir. We'll do that as well.
We'll need to give them permission on doing this other.
So moved to
Danny, make
have this lady.
Robert, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for those efforts. Any
Yes,
other
sir.
questions? Okay, Jamie.
No. I have my monthly report y'all have. We did end up taking 121 in this past month, and that is by far the worst June we've ever had since I've been here. And we're on track to have our largest intakes for the year in any year I've ever been here. We don't really know what the explanation for it is. We're just trying to keep our head above water over there with that situation. And so that's the monthly report. I didn't know, this was a kind of a last minute thing that I've been talking to Dominique and Danny Griffith about today. We've had 2 different calls about livestock within the city limits. And I think Dominique had been talking to the city attorney a little bit about the ordinance and if we wanted to modify the ordinance to make it a little more specific.
Go. Do you want me to explain?
Please explain.
These are people who want to have sheep and goats in town. And this particular property was identified as R2, which can allow for an agricultural activity, but you have to have 5 acres. So unless it's a R2 house on 5 acres, you should not be allowed to have sheep and goats. So because this is first time yet I've missed Paul, but I know there'll be many, but he would, if it's for dinner, it's not a pet. And that's exactly what Paul would probably say.
Yeah.
And I think this is zoning code compliance solution to that.
So with that being said, you don't think we need to amend any ordinances?
No, not at this point. Find out, man, let's see if it works. I think you cite them for code compliance because, you're not on a 5-acre lot, so you can't have sheep and goat.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then we'll tighten it up somewhere else.
Okay, interesting.
But I know that's what Paul would say. I miss
It always is.
I had to keep notes on this.
Okay.
Also,
Jamie, anything else?
I've got
Tell me-
nothing
tell
else
me-
unless you have questions for me.
Tell me about your construction.
Right now, we're in a wait situation. They're waiting on the metal building for the dog building to be shipped. It should be here anytime now, but the foundation's been done, the plumbing's been done for the dog building. We're just waiting on the metal shell. And I think they're probably as eager for it to get here as we are. And once the metal building goes up, they'll be able to finish the inside. We'll be able to move our dogs to that building, and then they'll start the renovation on the back portion.
Thanks for bringing us up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Eddie Russell. Eddie, are you on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you got the monthly report from us. As you can tell, we've been really busy this month. We had to deal with the rain that hit us really hard. We ended up having 37 water leaks that we repaired this month, 15 sewer backups that were cleared. We had a 10-inch water main break that was repaired. That's right behind the turntable place. Is actually developing another leak as we speak. So we'll have to go back in there and fix another section of that line. And then the cemetery well, we had to pull that pump. Over the years, it's lost 50% of its capacity. So that has actually been pulled, and it's at Mid-South well now being repaired. And another big item that we had was the Dexter Forston software upgrade for the water well SCADA. All of the little inputs have been put in there. And now if we lose any type of power here at the plant, then the wells, a local RTU unit will actually come online and keep the wells running.
Good.
But other than that, it's, like I said, just been completely busy. So if you got any questions, I'm willing to answer.
Yes, I have one. Eddie,
Yes,
right
sir.
on the corner of Christmas Street and Wade Grove. Christmas and Wade Grove. There's a big water leak, been leaking for quite some time. I would like very much for you to check that out. Right on the corner of Christmas and Wade Grove.
Okay, we'll make sure we get over there and check that out.
Other questions? Okay, thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Okay, Steve-O?
Hi, everybody. I want
Hey.
to apologize for earlier, but you all have my report unless y'all have any questions for me. That's it.
Yes, Steve.
Yes,
If-
ma'am. Ma'am?
At 907 North Street, there's
Yes,
a
ma'am.
pothole there in front of that house. Will you look at that for me, please?
Yes, ma'am. That's right there before you cross over to Martin Luther King. That's gonna be a water leak in there. I turned it over to Infomart last week.
Okay.
So we're waiting on them to fix the water and then we'll go back in and patch it.
Would you follow up with them tomorrow?
Yes, sir, I will.
Thank you.
Do they need to mark it?
Yeah, I'm sure. Do they need to mark it tomorrow? I mean, they need to.
No, sir. I think Damien knows exactly where it's at.
Okay.
Oh, I meant for
Oh, do you need, is it big enough that you need any,
It would cause some tire.
It's a little, yeah, I can put a cone over it.
okay,
Just
do
make them
something,
go around it.
Yeah, just something.
and let them know that we're interested in getting moving on that.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome.
Other, Steve-O? Okay, thank you, Steve-O.
Thank you.
Clint?
Hey, good afternoon, Mayor. Believe it or not, I do not have anything for,
Believe it.
That is unbelievable.
But
Well, we good.
don't worry, everything's piling up. I should have you a pretty good list coming next meeting.
Okay. We'll be prepared, Glenn. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Okay, Jason?
Yeah, the only two things that I have outside of my monthly report is approval for the lowest and best bid for the repairs at Amsi Pavilion due to the storm on May 4th. I sent Dominique those today. Not sure if she's passed those out to you guys or not to look at it.
Jason, she did, that portion of it, I know we got quotes, but isn't that pavilion, shouldn't insurance be paying for that?
We talked.
Yeah, we received $48,000 already.
We did?
We have received 48,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Got a motion on the floor, Ted. Brian second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And also, you heard me tell Buster too that we get somebody over there for that situation. I'm glad you got the gates open today because
Yes.
that's ridiculous over there.
And we will have those open in the morning whenever we get to work. Another question, last thing I have is the basketball courts. I know we talked about it last month, maybe trying to open those the same time as we open up the pool. Just trying to think I can see your thoughts on that.
Well, let me, you and Buster just put our heads together and sit down and talk.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
One thing Jason brought up is opening from 10 to 4.
Yeah.
And then closing that gate to where they can't be accessed after 4 o'clock.
Mhm.
That was a concern that we talked about. And as long as it's that way, I don't see where that would be a problem.
Mhm.
Our problem with the basketball goals is later on in the afternoons when the older adults and kids come and start trying to gather at them.
Yeah.
I think same thing would hold true there on ALO.
Well, they're not concerned with A-Lo on
If,
this.
if for the basketball goals are
The
concerned.
only problem with those goals, Mr. Campbell, is the fact that they're not fenced in. And if you put that.
They're not fenced in.
There's no way for us to regulate when somebody can access them and when they can't.
And there will be activity at the swimming pool at the same time as those courts are being used.
That's one of the things. That's a good question. Actually, she had a question, Jason. All of us concerned because all the kids have to go to my pool over there in my ward. But is there the age limit? She was talking about the age group. And I noticed today there was a big age group and a little age group, and it's hard to keep them apart. So.
Yeah, it is a large age group and it's different prices for each one. I think, and it's really, 13 and under, it's only $1 to come in, and 13 and over is $2 to come in. So really we can do the age groups however you guys want to. But yeah, it is a big difference in little kids and big kids. I think the whole football team came today. It was a big group, really big group out there today.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want to stagnate the process, but when you get a big age group with those little kids and some little child gets hurt by a bigger child, we got issues. And that's my problem.
We want to have different times for different people.
Or different days,
Or something, Mayor. We got to do something. Yeah, we got to.
alternate days.
I mean, you got that big age group. If you saw it today, like he said.
I think it's kind of the beginning of the season. Today's the first day.
Today was the first day, and it was a really big crowd out there today. Like a lot of people.
Do y'all want to do it this early in the process? Because what's it just going to be a month we're doing it?
Correct. We're going to try to keep it open as long as we can before school starts.
Well, the little kids are gonna quit coming this week.
Yeah, they are.
Right.
You want to look at separate days.
I mean, let's just alternate days and see what happens.
And if it
Yeah, we
doesn't
can-
work,
We
okay.
can do that and see how it goes this week.
So you get that notice out?
I will put something out on Facebook tonight, and I will get with Johnny Harris in the morning, and we can take care of it.
For clarity for the minutes, what are the age groups?
I guess we can keep it the same and keep it 13 and under one day, and then 13 and over another day.
What's the over?
13.
They said
I mean, we
13.
can keep it. I mean, I really don't know. It's a public pool, so I don't know if there is an age limit that we want
to. Under and 14 and over.
But what do we call over?
You talking about
18?
19, does
Whatever.
20?
Could be adults.
It can be adult.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's-
correct.
We ain't got those adults. I ain't.
The days, I guess.
We'll just give it a try and see how it
Young
works
kids.
for a while. And
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a week or two. And
And we'll meet back in 2 weeks.
We meet in 2 weeks, so.
Okay, so swap them up and we'll talk in 2 weeks how it's working.
See how it works for you.
Okay.
But back to the goals, I want to get that back, and you put a lot of effort into that. I'm with you, Buster. We will.
Just during the open hours, 10 to
Yes,
4.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
You had to say it up first.
All right, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason, I want to thank you. Fireman's Park looks really nice. I've been going out of town the last week or so. Have those big piles of limbs, the trees been removed yet? Over on the.
We're still working on that. We really don't have a lot of equipment to handle some of that, so we're doing it piece by piece.
You don't have the equipment. I mean, there's some big stuff.
Right.
Been there a while.
I did not tree people get.
Didn't know how we needed to address that. Could you think about it and maybe talk
It's in the middle of
to,
the park too. I mean, we talk.
share some information with us
Not
and
quite easy as it sounds.
Right.
help let us know? I mean, people have asked me about it.
Yes, I will try to get with either Steve-O or I will get with some tree service and see if we can take care of it.
Huge trees.
Danny?
Jason, with budget hearings coming up, hope I'm not speaking out of turn. Could you get us a price to dig that ditch that separates Fireman Park and Crosby Road deeper and use it out on the baseball field like Gary said?
Yeah, absolutely. I can try to make some phone calls tomorrow and try to get it in there.
Get us a price. We want to keep people from coming through there.
Well, that's not
Okay.
gonna solve it, because they're going through that apartment complex too.
Is that where they're coming?
Well, there's a ditch over there too.
Not in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, I can definitely get a price on that.
The parking.
Man,
The right kind of ditch is stopping.
Huh?
The right kind of ditch.
The right kind of ditch. Go ahead and look at it and see what you can do. Get us a price.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank y'all.
Thank you all.
The right kind of ditch.
Okay. Dominic?
Yes, sir. So for the order to ratify existing contracts, we can punt that to executive session. I know we have some.
Okay, wait a minute. I can't hear.
Yes, sir. So number 2, order to ratify existing contracts. You have a listing of contracts. I want to defer that to executive session.
Yes, ma'am.
For that. But number 3, our election commissioners, they run the same length of your term. So this is an order to reappoint our 3 election commissioners.
So move.
Second.
Robert, Gary, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Number 4, this is something we do every year for MML, naming the mayor as the voting delegate and then Alderman Sanders as the alternate.
So move.
So move.
Say Gary, all in favor, say aye.
Just a few updates. Our limb pickup debris company, they finished the Friday before last. And so we're waiting the bill for the bill, which won't be very pretty.
Be a humdinger.
We got that. We applied for the ARPA funds from the state. So we should get 1.3 million within the next month or so. And then total, I believe, is 2.7 that we'll get the rest of it next year. So that's just the money that came from the, I guess, the COVID relief. So we applied for that July 1st. And then other than that, budget sessions, August 10th through the 12th. So you guys should have that.
10th.
Yes, August 10th through the 12th.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yes, sir. As we've done in the past, we'll probably just go that Tuesday and Wednesday and then come back the following week to
8
finish.
o'clock. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, if everything goes smooth, we ought to be able to meet with department heads that second day.
yes.
We say 8 o'clock?
Yes, and y'all want to do it here? Y'all want to do it on Zoom or
No,
both?
here.
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 Madam Clerk.
All right, I know on Zoom we went fast, so.
Dominique.
Doesn't matter to me now.
I'm just kidding.
Madam Clerk, is there any money regarding that debris that it resulted from that big windstorm we had around the 1st of June, 7th, and
May 4th?
May the 4th, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if a disaster was declared for that. And if there was a disaster declared by the governor for that, then that would free up FEMA funds.
Can you
I would
inquire
just
through
look into that. I can look through it.
within the city bank can connect you with that? Because it was a straight line wind that.
It was, yeah. And there were tornadoes around the state
Area.
that day. I can research that. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Dominique, August is 10, 8 o'clock. Is that 8:30? What time is it?
8, we started at 8 that morning,
8 in the morning.
regular session. And that's all I had, Mayor. Unless y'all had questions for me.
Questions, Dominique? Heather?
afternoon. I do not have any employee action recommendations, but however, I would like to add to my report. I gave you all an update on our unemployment, and just wanted to let you know that it looks like with the account we have, we'll have to pay that, but Danny is going to look into some things further, and we'll update you again on that.
If y'all remember, we had some unemployment claims that came up from COVID, and there were some that we knew they're not legit. People were just adding our name to draw down. But because the system is so backed up, we can't get appeals done. And so with the account we have being a reimbursable account, essentially we have to pay the money to unemployment. We have to pay it in. We've got our final delinquency notice, and they're saying, listen, y'all got to pay it. We can potentially get it back. I don't know if we will, but it looks like our hands are tied at this point.
I have done 3 appeals, and those decisions were reversed. But after talking to them, they explained to me with the reversal account, we won't get it back until basically they collect it from the person themselves.
So with holding out, it helped us for 3 of our claims with holding out as we've done.
Backed out.
Well, we got the appeal before we paid it, and so now we don't have to pay anything. You just hate to have to pay it and know it's going to take forever to get the money back, but we got to do it now.
We got to do it. Choice.
Yeah, but also looking at our background checks, what we're paying, will we have that? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. You talked to me about that, I believe about a month ago. So I have looked at several different vendors. However, the vendors that I have found are more expensive than ours. Along with the drug screen, they're also more expensive than ours. So I'll keep my research going and see what else I can find.
Okay. We're paying pretty good for background.
Okay, other questions? Okay, thank you. Robert?
Mayor, I don't have anything. If I'm not mistaken, I think I've covered it all tonight.
Okay. Kirkham?
I'm good to go.
Okay, Ms. Wentz?
Everything's fine.
Okay.
That's my.
I don't have anything.
Ted?
Yes. I don't have anything
You
else.
sure? Gary?
I've got a whole page, but most of what I wrote down is probably going to be covered in the executive session.
I bet it is. Brian?
I think we've covered everything.
Okay, Kenny? Okay, I'm gonna name the different committees I'm gonna appoint for this next year. Also, some of them, I've been talking about these meetings have gotten pretty lengthy. And we want to consider on maybe going back to 6 rather than 6:30. It wouldn't be so late getting out of here, does it? Does anybody have problems with that?
I have a problem with that. I have a meeting at 5:30. I've had that for the last 12 years.
Well,
and it would be a personal imposition on me. So I would request that we remain at 6:30.
I know I closed my store at 5:30 and then I've got to find something to do personally, Mayor, but I'll listen to everybody else. I just hate sitting around. I understand Alderman Pavilion situation too.
Well, we were at 6 for years and it worked fine. I'm in favor of 6 o'clock.
Okay, we'll put it off till next meeting or we'll 2 weeks from now. We'll do what the majority wants to do is how we'll handle that.
Right.
Okay, my committees, the Finance Committee, obviously Gary will be chairman and Brian Bishop will be on it and Ted Campbell. Airport Commission will be Kirk. Police Committee, and I will call the meetings will be Robert, Brian, and Gary. Animal Shelter will be Danny and Ms. Wentz. Park Commission will be Danny and Gary. And Cemetery Committee, which needs to get going. We're getting low on spots out there on Mullen Road in West Lawn. And I've looked all around and we'll continue to do that. Will be Ted and Ms. Wentz. So that'll be our committee going into the next, this next year. Okay, with that being said, I guess we'll go in executive
I
session.
move we consider going executive session, to talk about personnel and litigation.
Okay, a second.
Second.
A second. All in favor, say aye.
We in executive session.
All right, motion by Kirk. A second again. All